Bun găsit, doamnelor și domnilor! Ca în fiecare an, SpaceFEST aduce la București și v-am obișnuit, așa probabil, dacă ați fost alături de noi în ultimii ani, astronauți foarte cunoscuți care vin aici să-și împărtășească poveștile, experiențele cu studenții, cu specialiștii, cu toți cei care aici la Universitatea Politehnica București încearcă să-și dezvolte cariera și să ajungă specialiști în acest domeniu aerospațial, în domeniul aeronauticii și tot ce stă în jurul acestei industrii. Astăzi avem o ediție specială și o să vi prezint pe scurt pe invitații noștri. Recunosc că și eu am emoții și o să vă spun de ce. În clipa de față, pe mapamond, există doar 6 oameni care au pășit pe lună. 6. Atât. Unul dintre ei este astăzi aici alături de noi. Charles Duke a fost pilotul misiunii care în 1972 cu Apollo 16 a ajuns pe lună. Vom vorbi cu el despre această experiență. Vom sta de vorbă și cu Nicole Stott, un alt astronaut extrem de cunoscut și care are peste 100 de zile în spațiu. Și de asemenea o prietenă de-a noastră mai veche, Christina Korp, care revine în România, la București și care se ocupă de toată această activitate a numeroșilor astronauți care fac practic o activitate permanentă din a-și împărtăși poveștile. Nu mă mai lungesc, trecem direct la dialog, care o să fie evident în limba engleză. So sorry for my introduction in Romania. Bit because
Yes.
you are keeping coming. Do you keep coming in Romania? So maybe some. First of all, I'd like to ask you, because we are at the end of a long day, the first day of SpaceFest, how was today? How do you feel about all these interactions that you have? Students, teachers, a lot of fans.
Well, I think
You too. A lot of children also I've seen coming to you, making photos with you. How do you feel when you see all that queues in line waiting for
I
you?
love it. And that we had a full house today of kids. And I think there's a lot of interest. And it's an exciting time because humans are going, or just went back to the moon for the first time on Artemis 2 and their future missions. So I'm just hoping we keep it going with the young people here in Romania.
Charlie, I'd like to ask you, how do you think your presence here mean really something for all these students that are learning, that are being inspired by you?
Well, I hope that my presence and my experience can inspire them in their career, whatever it is, whether it's engineering or whether it's becoming an astronaut or getting involved in space or some sort of engineering or science. And my hope is that we are able to, Nicole and I and others that have had an opportunity to go into space, will encourage everybody to dream big and to aim high, if you will. And who knows what your career can bring.
Maybe at their age, you would have liked to have that chance that they have it now.
Well, when I was their age, most of the kids, there wasn't any space program, and people said you're going to go in space, and it never even occurred to me. But just my career in the Air Force and my flight experience, and then my engineering degree at MIT sort of set the stage. When I met some astronauts, I said, how did I get that job? And they said, well, go to test pilot school and you might have a chance. So I followed their advice. So I think it's important for young people to, when they get this sense of this is what they want to do, is to follow through on that feelings they have and to try to accomplish whatever their desire is.
Nicole, I've heard you today saying that you have also felt inspired by all these students from Politehnica București. So it's in both senses.
Absolutely. I think it always works that way. I think if we open ourselves up to it, we are. I mean, today you look around with the exposition that's here as well, that has the research that these students are doing. I mean, it's cutting edge when you look at what's happening with the students here, and that's, you know, on a global scale. And then you've got the young kids who are not just seeing us, right, and experiencing, listening to our experiences, but they're walking around this exhibition too, and they're seeing, you know, people that don't look as old as we do doing really exciting things, and that is definitely inspirational, and it does work both ways. For us to feel the excitement that they have for the experiences and the stories that we tell, I mean, I hope it carries forward for them, you know, beyond just the time today.
Our hall was full today, but maybe a lot of students did not have the chance to speak to you, to hear what you were saying. I'd like to ask you maybe to share an advice for a young student who dreams to become maybe one day like you.
Well, my advice is to keep dreaming. I have a motto that I sign pictures with: aim high. So you never know where your dreams and aspirations can take you if you work hard, you study, and you keep focused on your goal. And so looking around at what we saw today in the hall downstairs, as Nicole has alluded to, is very encouraging to me, that the young people here are excited about a future, and maybe a lot of them will end up in the space industry, or at least science and technology that will be benefit to their country and to their careers.
Yeah, well, yeah, just following on to that, I mean, you've got aim high, I've got dream big. It's like, but I think that's what it is. It's this encouragement of, you know, I mean, kids do a really good job of being curious, right? And you want them to stay that way, like to keep being curious, pay attention to what you are excited about, and kind of follow through with it. Like Charlie's saying, you know, pursue it in a way that allows you to create something for yourself that you might never have imagined possible. And it really is cool to see how people want to lift you up in that too. And when you pay attention to what you're excited about, you're gonna have fun at what you study, you're gonna find a cool job, people are gonna open up opportunities for you that you never, you know, may have even imagined for yourself. So yeah, Very great. And I'm grateful to see, like Charlie said, I am grateful to see that that is happening here.
Christina, you manage and you communicate with legends. How
Legends, did you hear
How
him?
difficult is to deal with astronauts? They don't hear us. Tell us something that we don't see.
Well, you know, I think, first of all, people sometimes will say to me, what is it like being with the elite humans? And I'm like, well, the key word here is they are human, right? They're humans who have big hopes and dreams also. And I think sometimes people think that astronauts are perfect, but they're humans. We all have failures. We all have challenges. You know, things don't always go perfectly. Like with rocket launches, what a lot of people see now, like with new companies, is they might fail the first couple of times. And that's a good reminder, too, is the thing that I admire about astronauts is that they're curious, they don't give up, and they want to be a part of something greater than themselves. And that's what I think is throughout the space industry, is we all want to be a part of something really exciting. And that's what young people should know too, is even if you're not an astronaut, you could be a part of something else that helps, you know, take astronauts or take things to space. So working with astronauts, it's a lot of fun. We get to do a lot of cool things.
And you enjoy it.
But they are human too. And I think that's good to remind people too, that they're, you know, just like us, really, who had big hopes and dreams, but then got to go to space.
Can I chase that just a little bit in that, you know, this idea of working and doing something exciting, like launching on a rocket, doing these things. I think what we try to share, all of us, a lot, and it gets to what Space for a Better World is about, this idea of raising people's awareness of how all of what we're doing in space is ultimately about improving life on Earth. And I think kids get excited about that. Young students get excited about that. And so when you're thinking about this thing you're really curious about and want to learn more about, part of that should be, how is what I can do with that going to help make life better on Earth for everyone? And, you know, that then makes a better future for everyone.
We'll talk, of course, about your space experience. But first of all, I'd like to know about your life these days in Romania, because you're not for the first time here. I think you've been the first time in 81?
My first visit to Romania was 1981.
81?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was in Germany and met Ilie Koroama, and he was a Romanian refugee, and he was coming to Romania, and so I asked, we got to be friends, and so he invited me to come with him, and we toured around various cities in Romania, and I shared my experiences, and he was Christian, and I was able to share my faith with the people, and so that started a love. I fell in love with Romania through him and other people that I met. It was a very friendly country, and made me feel right at home, and so I've come back many, many times since.
It was very different because it was during the communist regime in that time, and now I think it's very different, the Romania that you discover today.
Yeah.
From that years. Very,
Well,
very
if I understand your question correctly, on every visit we've been welcomed extremely pleasantly, and people are excited to hear my story over and over again, and hope that we inspire young people and everybody to do their best, and yes, I say aim high, and to point to something that's maybe a big dream but might come true.
Nicole, is there anything special that you like or you enjoy here in Romania?
Of course. I mean, you know, I think about any experience, it comes down to the people, right? Which is what, you know, Charlie is getting to. And very grateful to that, you know, Christina included me on the list the first time as well to come here for SpaceFEST. And that opened up the opportunity to explore a little bit more of Romania that as a kid I was really excited about, and I grew as an adult to want to experience this as well, and to see some of the amazing countryside and to be able to go to Transylvania. I mean, as a child, my very first novel that I read was Bram Stoker's Dracula. And I know it might seem a little silly, but it created this interest, this desire to be here
So
someday.
you've been at the castle.
I have,
Yeah,
and
been there.
and the countryside around it, and the other castles that are there that share some of your really interesting history, and it's nice. It's nice to have been a part of that as well.
The food, meat,
Well, papanash.
papanaș, wow,
That's
yes.
what the national food, right? Or at least for me, Romania, yes, was delicious.
Have you tried the țuica? The Romanian, it's a Romanian liquor. It's very strong.
You know, I don't
They
know.
put it in small
They
shots.
always try to give us the Romanian liquor when we leave here, but we don't need to bring lots of alcohol with us around. But I still have some at home from when I first came to Romania. Yeah.
This is nice. I'd like now to go some years and years back in time. Probably you're tired of this question, but I have to ask you because a lot of people maybe want to hear it from you. Your first experience there on the moon, 1972. You spent there, I think, on the surface 3 days or
We were 72 hours, 3 days on the lunar
3
surface.
days.
Yeah, and we were very excited about landing because we were delayed 7 hours due to a problem with the other spacecraft. And we were 1 hour before we were to land when he reports this problem. And if it hadn't been for mission control to figure out what was wrong and a workaround so that that they gave him a go in his spacecraft, that we were able to land. It took them, and I'm eternally grateful for the people in mission control who were responsible in all of Apollo to save the day. On every flight, some problem came up that they had to figure out in quick time so that you could continue the mission. And without mission control and the experts that we had there, Apollo would have been a dismal failure, actually.
Whoa. So you have also slept there, of course, during.
sorry?
You have also slept there, of
Oh,
course.
yeah.
During
Yeah.
all these
I mean,
3 days.
we landed late, and so we got on the surface, and our flight plan said, put on your spacesuits and go outside. But they said, we've changed everything. And so 4 hours after we landed, they said, go to sleep. And so we had hammocks, and we put up a hammock, and I lay down, and I was wide awake. How do you go to sleep 4 hours after you land on the moon? It was.
When you were excited.
But
to,
we had
to,
a
to-
sleeping pill in our medical kit. And I told them, I said, I'm taking a sleeping pill. I'm not getting any sleep at all. So they said, okay, so take one. So I got about 4 hours of sleep that night.
The feeling of the first step on that surface.
I think it was exhilaration is the best way to describe it. I did feel right at home. When I stepped out, I recognized the major features that we had studied. A stone mountain to the left, Smoky Mountains to the right, this big valley that we landed in. And as we came in to land, we recognized the major craters that we had studied from this photograph taken on Apollo 14. And so it was a feeling of, man, I'm home. And I've landed exactly where I wanted to land. And so let's get to work.
Nicole, more than 100 days up there in the space. How was the first of these 100?
They all kind of felt like the first because it was a really wonderful place to be. You know, very different to life on Earth, right? I mean, we're held in our seats right here, and everything up there floats. You're floating, your stuff is floating. It's this wonderful experience of figuring out, you know, your brain and your body figuring out how to move in 3 dimensions and feel comfortable doing that, really floating, flying from one place to another. And that's certainly a bit more overwhelming the first day than it is any other day, but it's just like this, it's kind of like a gift, like a surprise, like waking up and like, oh my gosh, I'm in this place where I float and I'm getting to do cool work, and wow, that's a really wonderful view out the window. And it's all just there's kind of an energy behind it that that just stays with you every day in that place.
Just add, everybody said, well, what was special about it? I said, well, it's the only place I'd ever been where you could put on your pants 2 legs at a time.
2 legs at a time. Yep.
This is something
Yeah.
to experience.
And the sleep on the space station was fantastic. I mean, of course, we had activities too where the night before doing a spacewalk is a little, there's like to go out and float and be in your own little personal spaceship, there's a little adrenaline flowing for that. But sleep in general on the space station it's the best sleep I've ever had in my entire life. Absolutely.
We won't experience it never, I think, Christina.
Oh no, I plan to go to space, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And I have been very lucky because I have done zero gravity flights with these guys. So
Oh,
I have
oh,
floated
really?
with them, yes. We've done it 4 times, and we have another flight coming up in August, actually. We'll be
Wow.
floating in zero gravity together in
Wow,
August.
That's cool.
So I was made for space. I will get
Oh,
there.
sorry then.
Never say never.
Tell me, please, what was the feeling when you saw our planet from there far away? When you saw its color, everything?
Well, the most memorable time, we came around from the backside of the moon, and we had Earthrise. My first thought was, we're a long way from there. I hope this holds together and gets me home. But then that jewel of Earth just suspended in the blackness of space. And the Bible says when God made the earth, he suspended it upon nothing. That's exactly what it looks like, just hung in the blackness of space. And so the scriptures have come alive to me from what I saw and what it described in the Holy Bible. It speaks the truth to us, and there it was, just out there in the blackness of space and the void of space. You don't see any stars. We didn't see any other planets or anything. Just there was the earth suspended in that blackness of space.
Wow. It's overwhelming seeing this, yeah?
It is, and I love that description because I think it's a reality check, right? I mean, all those images that you guys shared of Earth from the moon, and the ones we've seen recently too from the Artemis 2 crew, it's like, oh my gosh, no better way to show the who and where we all are in space together, right? It is stunning, and it is a reality check of, and even when you're on a space station that's 1,000 miles or 1,000 times closer than where you were, 250 miles versus 250,000 miles, it's like, wow, this is a planet in space. We live on an ocean planet in space. And we're all earthlings, and I say this all the time, these guys are probably sick of it. We're all earthlings, and the only border that matters, and when you look at the Earth from the moon in those images, you barely can even see the line of the atmosphere, like this thin blue line that is it all that protects us from that deadly vacuum of space, and how special that is, and how important it is for us to accept our role as crewmates on our planetary spaceship too, and not just these machines that we build for us to survive in space. This is a truly extraordinary, stunning, beautiful, iridescent, colorful, glowing against the blackest black, all of those things that, as a human looking at it come to mind. And it's, I don't know, reality check is the 2 best words I can come up with that, and we all, we talk about this a lot. It's like we all should wake up in the morning, and when we roll out of bed and our feet hit the ground, we should be thinking, I'm standing on a planet in space. And I think it's like this simple thing we learn when we're in kindergarten, right? When we're tiny little kids. And yet somehow through life, it's not presented to us in a way that keeps it kind of in the front of our minds. And I think it is a really important thing to keep up front and to remind ourselves of every day.
Nicole, I've made the short notice not to forget to ask you about one thing. I've read that you have painted up there in the space. It's a passion that you have also here on Earth, or you just tried to do something special there?
Yeah, I'm really, that was really one of the personal highlights for me, was to be able to paint with watercolors in space. And, throughout my time with NASA and as an astronaut, I tried to pay attention to that kind of thing with my colleagues. I mean, all astronauts, and I will include Charlie too, have some creative thing that they bring to life as well. And I always loved artsy, craftsy things growing up. I've never trained or done anything. I mean, it's all experimental, but I love it. And I was very grateful to have somebody encourage me to bring something that I like doing on Earth with me to space. And that ended up being watercolors. But man, you know, from the very beginning of astronauts flying in space, of humans doing human spaceflight, there's been colored pencils brought to sketch orbital sunrises and sunsets. There's musical instruments. You know, there's, who was it, Stafford and...
Alexi Leon.
Well, Stafford and... who brought up like the tiny little, this little harmonica, and it was a Gemini flight, harmonica and jingle bells to play jingle bells on when they were in space over Christmas. And you've got poetry written. Al Warden wrote a poetry book after flying in space to describe this, you know, but it's like this bagpipes. Kjell Lindgren played bagpipes on the station. And that, I think it really is a human thing. We want to bring our humanity with us. Charlie brought a picture of his family and left it on the moon. That is a human thing to do. That is something really connected to our humanity. And man, you know, Kjell Lindgren played those bagpipes. And I think about it like, here's a guy who just likes the bagpipes, and your crew must really love you to let you bring bagpipes on the station. But he was just bringing it to experience it himself, and yet he made a connection to his family and friends on Earth through that in a way that was completely unexpected. They had a family member who passed away, and he ended up playing Amazing Grace. I almost cry every time I think about it. Amazing Grace from the space station for the memorial service for his friend, you know, that had passed on Earth. And I'm like, man, there's nothing more human than that.
Charlie, tell me something about these activities that are so human and are not astronautical at all, that during the
Well,
the
it wasn't
travel.
a spiritual experience for me. It was, at the time, I was, believed in God, but God was out there somewhere. It wasn't a personal experience like it is today. But it was the wonder of it all was just it wasn't overwhelming for me, but I mean to see the Earth and the beauty of it and the intricacy of the procedures and the technology that got us there was really made an impression upon me, especially the experts in mission control. When every Apollo flight had some problem that required mission control to solve the problem to save the day. And so I give great credit to the team, if you will. It was a team effort. Every time you go into space, it requires the rocket companies, it requires the engine companies, it requires the environmental control system. Every system has to work, and if it doesn't work right, can they fix it and save the day? So it's just a team effort.
Unfortunately, we are getting close to the end of our conversation, but I'd like to ask you something, because we keep asking you about wonderful things and achievements and excitement of what you have done. I'd like to ask you something about those moments that are very hard, very difficult. Did it happen, the most difficult moment that could happen there for you? Because probably it's not everything perfect. You have thoughts, you have pressure, you have... What was the most difficult thing to overpass?
The dynamics of landing in Apollo was the procedure that took the most focus and the most attention to detail to achieve a successful landing. And other than that, was just every time we had a problem, we had to be well trained enough to come up with the correct answers. And as I keep saying it over and over again, it was a team effort. Mission control, if without mission control, Apollo 13 would have never survived. And without our flight, without mission control, we'd have never landed on the moon. I mean, they were the heroes. I keep saying that. They're the heroes of Apollo. Those guys and gals in mission control that knew the systems, they knew the procedures, and they knew how to overcome these problems that arose through a lot of training, coordination, and simulations together. And they were as well trained as we were, during the whole mission.
I see. Nicole, a difficult moment?
Yeah, I think, and it kind of follows to what Charlie's saying. We are prepared so well through the training and the mission control team to be in a place where if it's humanly possible, we really do feel like we'll be able to deal with it, right? And with that joint effort with the team on the ground. And so for me, when I get asked the question that you've posed about like difficulty, and sometimes along with that is, were you afraid? Were there things that that were frightening to you in the whole experience? And it wasn't the system stuff. It wasn't the spaceship. It wasn't those kinds of things, because I felt like, okay, we'll be able to deal with it if it's possible. It was it was family. My son was 7 when I flew the first time. And I remember on the launch pad not being afraid of launch. I wanted to know what it was going to feel like. I wanted to get to space. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, man, I hope my husband and my son are okay watching me do this. I hope my mom and my sisters are okay watching me do this. That's what I was worried about. And in space, I was worried about something happening to them and I couldn't get home. You can't just hop in your spaceship anytime you want to come home. And I think it's the kind of thing parents worry about no matter where they are. But it's another one of those human things, I think, that is putting the human in human spaceflight. We're going to think about our families. We're going to be thoughtful enough to take a picture of our family and put them on the moon with us. And that's where the concern was for me.
I want to thank you very much, and especially for sharing all of this with our students in Politehnica București, because it's something huge for them.
Well, we hope we encouraged them all. Always aim high, everybody. Yeah.
And
we're grateful for our Wrangler too, by the way.
From Christina, I'd like to have a promise that you will keep bringing to Romania people like you brought us here.
Yes, apparently they have already asked me to plan for next year, so,
Yes,
so
perfect.
we'll see you again.
Thank you very much again, and enjoy your time in Romania. Vă mulțumim mult de tot pentru că ne-ați urmărit. Ne întoarcem la voi.